Oh, you should have been listening to the harmony I was hearing in here. They were all singing to the theme song.
We
Welcome back to
were.
Families in Action here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. We are here with our special guest, Michelle Krantz, who's the principal at La Mesa Junior High School, and Janine Prado, who's with the city of Santa Clarita. And we are talking about Teens Talk Drugs, which is coming up this Wednesday night. And Cary will be there, and Janine will be there, and Michelle Krantz will be there. And Michelle, you and Cary are speaking, right?
Yes, we are.
It's going to be a little different though, because we have the real speakers are kids too, and we have a kid. Sage will be there. She's I think 19, and she had a problem with all kinds of drugs, but the drug that ended her usage was crystal meth. We have somebody that is going to speak strictly about marijuana and how severely addicted he was to that. He's a young adult. We actually put him on the streets. So that'll be great. And then we have somebody that's going to talk about opiates. So, and you know what we got to remember is all drugs start innocently. And unfortunately, every 19 minutes ends tragically. And I was looking at the post, because we posted that flyer, and it was incredible how many people were talking smack or nonsense that we had the word marijuana in that marijuana is not a drug. I mean, I didn't even want to respond to any of these people because you can't argue with a pothead. I mean, they know everything, and I'm not going to even go there, so it's an argument I'm not going to have. But I will say this, not everybody that lights up a joint or smokes a bong is going to become a heroin addict, but almost every heroin addict I ever met started with marijuana.
Well, we have a very different perspective on this, Cary, because unlike a lot of people, first of all, you work in drug rehab. That's what you do. Second thing is, you and I are both over at Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital, and the ED is filled with people who have, quote-unquote, just taken marijuana. That's what's in their system, and we know what's happening with them. They're psychotic.
Right.
They can't stop throwing up.
But you can't tell that to people
Right.
because they won't believe it, especially these potheads. Hey, I don't care if you believe it or not. We see this every day. And I also see what happens to these children that start smoking pot at a young age. They lose their motivation is gone. Their memory loss, I don't even want to talk about. They're dropping out of sports. They're dropping out of dance. Their
grades stink.
Their grades stink. I mean, and
They're closing off future opportunities for themselves.
And their brains aren't even fully developed, so look at the harm it could very well be doing
Absolutely.
there.
And I mean, and then now I'm not even going to even get into the fact that the government didn't reclassify it. I wonder why. They're leaving it as a dangerous drug.
And they say that it has
Interesting.
no medical value.
It has no. I've been saying that for years. Well, I might disagree a little tiny bit. I mean, somebody that's dying from cancer, smoke a joint, feel better.
Yeah.
Sorry, it'll get you high. It'll make you feel better. So that's. But really, as far as medical, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't cure glaucoma. Surely doesn't cure cancer. It might help you feel better. So what real medical value does it have? Not much.
But they got upset because you mentioned marijuana.
Oh, I don't care.
In the
I
same
don't-
company
I'm
as
not-
heroin and
I'm not even giving them the time of day. I wouldn't even answer to that.
yeah.
So that's a debate I'm not going to have because, like I said, if I'm dealing with somebody that's shooting heroin and I'm telling them as a drug counselor, you're ruining your life, and they're always going to say yes. I know. If I'm talking to somebody that's a chronic pot smoker, you're screwing up your life, huh? I mean, it's like, dude, you're burned out. They don't even know it.
Well, you can almost spot a student who started smoking pot. You know, they go from decent A's and B's right down to D's and F's, and it's,
And then we get them.
it's almost prescription.
Yeah, we put them in an outpatient, and we put them in our ranch. They come out, and it's, whoa, my grades are doing good. Yeah, that pot's out of your system. You can now, you're out of that fog.
The fog.
The fog.
The fog.
And so everything we're talking about is going to be talked about
Right.
Wednesday at this Teens Talk Drugs. And where's it located? When does it start?
Okay. It'll be Wednesday, August 24th at the center.
That's
formerly
coming
known
up.
At the Santa Clarita Activity Center. And we'll start at 6 o'clock p.m. with the resource fair, and our panel will start at 6:30.
That's when Cary and
And he will
Michelle
facilitate
are
the
on.
panel.
And the teens.
Absolutely.
And you've been to bunches of these in various formats, and the teens really tell the story.
They do. Because you can bring your child with you, which is great, they can relate to someone speaking about it. Even if someone's a little older, a lot of the times the speakers will talk about their experience as young people and how they got to where they are today. And that's very significant. It'll also hopefully show parents some of the warning signs, some of the questions you may want to ask a young person if you're suspicious. It'll also give you an idea of what's kind of going on out there, so you do have that knowledge and not be afraid to challenge and ask those questions.
This is really something parents need to attend.
Absolutely.
They need this.
Absolutely.
Because knowledge is power. We've said that. They've got to know what's going on. They can't say, my Johnny, my Cindy's not involved in this. Oh, come on. If they're not, it's all around them. You need to know.
You cannot go to, first of all, I don't know anybody that doesn't know somebody affected by alcohol or drugs, period. I don't know anybody that doesn't know somebody. And I can walk into any middle school and I can ask the kids, I can walk into any elementary school and ask the kids, how many of you know somebody that's using drugs? And almost every hand will go. That doesn't mean they are, but they know somebody. In every middle school, I can walk in and say, how many people, and they all know somebody. How many people know where to get the drugs? They all do. So it's kind of one of those, that doesn't mean that they're all using. Let's get that straight. But that means that they're faced with decisions that they have to make every day.
Parents are so important in this battle. They're so important. I can't tell you the number of times, we've actually called home where the child has admitted, yeah, I was at a party this weekend, and yes, we were smoking pot.
Right.
Kid is out of this kid's mouth, this is coming. And the parent said, he's just saying that to you to be
Don't
cool.
you just want to strangle
And I
him?
say, usually they don't say those things to the principal and the assistant principal to be cool. So, yeah, Mom, we did. Oh, he's just, the denial that, and I think it's because we see it as parents when our kids make big mistakes. It's a reflection on us as a parent. We're more worried, like, darn it, what did I do wrong? Oh, I stink as a parent. In the same way when our kids do great, we're glowing because we figured it out. We got the magic ingredient. So I do believe that we've got to be open-minded and know that it's not an indictment on our parenting. I have seen wonderful parents who have, I've done some of the parenting they've done with my own kids, and their kids have made the mistake. So it's not an indictment. There's so many influences affecting kids today. Unfortunately, we're not the sole influencer as parents.
And
But people say to me all the time, why are they starting so young? It's really simple. And let's put it in perspective for a second. The average parent of a teenager spends between 2 and 10 minutes a day with their kid. The average parent, if there's a mom and dad even living together, they're both at work in most homes. So little Johnny, what's the last thing little Johnny, at 14 years old, does every night before he goes to sleep? What's the last thing?
They're on the phone.
The last thing they do is check their social media. Exactly. So they're going to sleep now with their buddies. What is the first thing little Johnny does when he wakes up? Before he uses the bathroom.
Checks the social media.
So he goes to sleep with his friend. He wakes up with his friends. He walks into the kitchen, says hi to you. How quick is that? A minute? Then he goes to school and is with his friends for 6 or 8 hours? Comes home to an empty house, maybe not, but if not, there's always somebody there, his friends, either on his phone again or in person. We come home, how was your day?
Fine.
How was school?
Fine.
You have any homework?
Did it.
Are you hungry?
Ate.
Goes right back to their room, and what are they doing now? They're back on their phone with their buddies. So, and think this through for a second. There's 3 types of kids, 3 categories, right? I just did this on the show earlier. I'm going to do it again. But the category number 1, this is the smallest category of children. No matter what kind of a parent you are, your kid's high risk. Going to use drugs, drive fast, act crazy, fight, whatever it is. That's the smallest category. The next category is a little bit larger, and that's the kids that are level-headed kids. They know where they want to go. I want to be a principal. I want to run Santa Clarita City. Oh, be a radio, whatever. And they're on a mission. They know where they're going. Or I want to be a cop, so I have to make good decisions. The next group of kids are the largest category, and that's what you call the fence sitters. These are the ones we're losing today. This is why we're having an epidemic today. This is why kids are using drugs at a younger age today. Answer's pretty simple, isn't it? We spend between 2 and 10 minutes with these kids. They're with their buddies 16, 18 hours a day. You think peer influence is a little more important than parental involvement? I think absolutely it is.
Those 3 categories are the best descriptors that I've
Yes.
ever heard when you look at how to lay out a student population at a school.
Now, if I walked into one of your schools 20 years ago, and I did. And I was doing, what do they call when you, auditorium things?
Assembly.
Assemblies. And I said to the kids, what is the most important things in your world? I can guarantee you 20 years ago, almost every kid would say family. If I walked into the school today, I can guarantee you almost every kid would say friends.
And sadly, parents don't know who their kids' friends are. And if that is the most important thing in their life, they need to know
Yeah.
who they are.
So the kids that are in trouble today are the fence sitters because they're not getting that influence from the parents that they used to get.
Right.
They're getting it now from social media, and trust me, you think people are peer pressure just in school? What about social media?
Oh,
And they're
no.
on social media starting in 4th, 3rd grade
Oh, my
already.
God. Sex,
Bullying.
drugs, bullying. I mean, we can do 4 more shows today just going with that. So we really do need to figure out, hey, we need to spend time with our kids. Events like this, that even makes this more important if you really put it into perspective. We need to be involved in our kids' lives. We need to be able to talk to them about everything. And we need to start when they're young. And by the way, you know, it really gets me kind of nauseous when parents says, I can't talk to my kids. Why not? When did you decide not to? When he said not to say things in front of me, in front of his friends, and you listened?
Who's in charge?
Yeah, it's like craziness. It's like I run a psych unit, right? What if I was to call up and say, I want all the staff to leave, let the patients run it?
That would probably not work, Cary.
But that's what parents are doing today
Yeah.
with their kids. They're letting kids at 14 run their lives. And these kids need us. They need our knowledge. They need our power. They need our guidance.
Wisdom.
They need our wisdom. So isn't it pretty easy to figure it out now if you look at the 3 categories?
Oh, that's such a great way to lay it out. It's true. It's
Yeah.
really sad. But you're right. It does need to start when they're really young. I mean, you need to start having those conversations. I think a big key thing, too, is kids' self-esteem. Parents now are doing more for their children, and they're sending that silent message that you can't do it because I have to talk for you. I have to make this decision for you. And when they're put in a position to make an independent decision and mom's not there, they are not equipped with the skills to say no, or I'm not interested. They don't have the words.
Or they're discounted from the parents. I mean, think about it. You go sit down at Olive Gardens and eat dinner. The moms are checking Facebook. The dad's in space. The kids are texting their friends. No one's even
Headphones
together.
on.
Headphones are on. I mean, yeah. You should see when I walk into a group with these kids. I have to look around the room and say, if I see any of those headphones, I own them. Because even there, they got them on.
Well, I'm going to share a story with you because Cary and I have talked about this very issue a number of times. And I just last week had my daughter, my youngest granddaughter here. So we had several times when we had get to where we were actually sitting down to eat lunch and dinner together with our oldest granddaughter as well. So now we're talking about a teenager and we're talking about a one that's almost a teenager. And so, of course, they had their cell phones. And just as we were walking into the restaurant, I said, oh, everybody stop. I said, first of all, I want to tell you how happy I am that we're going to be having lunch together. And secondly, I want to tell you no cell phones at the table. Do you know that that's all it took? In fact, my daughter pulled out her cell phone and her daughter said, Mom, what are you doing?
Nice.
So it's not a hard thing to do. I just simply said no cell phones at the table.
You know, it's almost harder for adults when you do it that way because kids, when you hear it, boom, okay. Then the parents are like, oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I want to check my Facebook here.
Yeah.
I would like my
Now,
picture.
there's another kind of addiction.
You got that.
Uh-huh. We can do it. Yep, I think we need
Do you
to
run a
do
group
it.
for that?
We should do that.
And you know, this is also wonderful because we talk all the time about how parents need to be parents now, not their friends. They shouldn't be their children's friends. Be their friends later. Do the tough work. Be their parent now. This is what they need.
But you know what stops parents from doing that?
Well, they don't want to upset their child.
Yeah,
they want to be
the
their
kids to
child's
like
friend.
them. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. I'm sure, you know, I want my kids to like me too, but I sure prefer that they respect me more than like right now.
It's hard to be a parent. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I do get that. I have a 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, so I'm coming into those really important years, and it is hard. You know, the moods start. It's sometimes to say no and have to face that argument. It's easier to say yes.
Yeah.
It's easier to keep them happy and malleable. We think. We think.
Well, it is at the moment. But
Right,
you pay-
long-term, bad.
You pay a big price for
That's
it
right.
later. That's for sure. You do.
So this is open to both adults and their teens.
We encourage parents to bring their teens to have that
Perfect.
experience together.
Now,
Hey, you
Janine,
know what,
let's...
Mike? You know why it's important?
Why?
How long we been on the air?
45 minutes.
What does that mean?
Well, we've so
2.
far seen at least 2 people die from a drug overdose, unintentional.
Since we've been on
That's
the
right. Since we've been on the air. That's horrible. That's
Why
horrible.
should you show up?
Yeah.
Might save your kid's life.
Janine, tell us again what we're talking about. This is it's called Teens Talk Drugs. This is the 6th time that the city has done something like this. The heroin kills, etc. They're always extremely information packed.
Well, part of it is that this is a chance too for other teens and their parents to hear from teens that have experienced drug abuse, their personal stories and their experiences. Again, that evening we're going to have opportunity for parents and teens to try our impairment goggles, which are going to be alcohol related.
So we have that's
We have
part
that
of the
prior to-
resource fair.
Right. It's prior to the actual panel presentation, but it's a way for folks to experience what it's like to be under the influence and things you can or cannot do without actually being under the influence, but also to walk away and know. And even having that experience makes it more knowledgeable of what choices you may make in the near future.
And this is absolutely free. And it's August 24th, Wednesday, right, at the
That's
center.
Wednesday.
That's at 20880 Center Point Parkway. It starts at 6 p.m. with the resource fair.
And the impairment goggle experience.
And then 6:30 is when we have the panel of speakers and the teens that are going to be telling their stories. And
Correct.
Cary will be there, and Michelle will be there.
Janine will be there.
Janine will be there.
I will be there.
That's right. It's going to be
I
phenomenal.
haven't heard if you're going to be there yet.
I haven't said I would.
I know. That's why I just
No, it's very likely.
I just fronted you.
No,
off.
it's very likely that I will be there.
So you'll be there.
So I'll be there. So here's the
We'll all be
thing.
there.
Commitment.
Right. So I want a bunch of people to come up and say, "Oh, you must be the Silver Fox."
That's right. It's pretty easy to figure
'em
out
out.
who that is. Yeah.
Anyway, this is such a marvelous thing. It really is. And what parents learn and what teens learn, by the way, is so phenomenal.
Well, I think this year, because Michelle's going to be one of our speakers, it's going to put a different perspective from an educator in the community and working with young people. She brings a truly at the ground level experience and
I hear she's pretty
perspective.
cool.
She's cool.
Is she?
She's one of my friends. Yeah.
Okay.
I also experienced the loss of somebody, my brother, when he was 16. So,
You can speak from the heart.
oh yeah, and what it does to the people left behind.
Yeah.
That's, we don't think about that. My poor parents having to live with the loss of a
And you.
child is, and the little sister who was left behind. It's when kids are making these decisions, they're not equipped to understand the huge burden they're putting on everybody else, because it does take lives
Now,
every 19 minutes.
For somebody that's listening that's saying, "Oh, but you're a principal at a junior high school, so it can't be that bad." What do you deal with, Michelle?
I'm going to tell you the truth. The kids are getting savvier and savvier, and they understand that the consequences are big when they bring this stuff to school or they come under the influence. So I'll be honest with you, we don't find a whole lot, which I don't know if I'm concerned or relieved. On one hand, I want to
A
believe
little of both.
maybe a little bit of both, because I'm no fool to think that, we haven't had anything this week. Everyone must have come to school dry and sober. Not the case. Kids are doing stuff before school to get through their school day. But we're seeing kids who, for no good reason, are not being successful in school and lack motivation. We're seeing kids who their attendance is awful and it's impacting their learning, which
And
is
this
going to
is
close
just
doors.
middle school too.
And it's just middle school.
Yeah, imagine if we don't get a grip on these middle school kids now, what it's going to be like later.
They also, there's some idolization of drugs, whether it's, the paraphernalia or
Right.
wearing or of the symbols or drawing marijuana leaves on their books and
Or 420.
or 420. And it sounds very benign, like, they're just drawing a picture. And parents will react that way, act as if we're overreacting to the paraphernalia or the pictures that we're seeing, and they don't understand. It's kind of like those candy cigarettes of our youth.
Right.
If you start playing with those and you feel cool with that candy cigarette and the sugar comes
You
out.
know they
it's
still
like,
sell those.
I know. If they're doing that now, there is something that's coming next, and it might be in a year, and it might be in a few months, it might be in 3 years, but it's coming.
It's really sad that parents would look at a picture like that and say, "Oh, it's only a picture," because if a child drew a picture of their family and all the faces were sad, that's only a picture, but it tells a lot about what's going on.
Absolutely.
So just
Indeed.
looking at something and saying it's a picture, that's a cheap way out, I think. And I'm sorry to say that if somebody's offended, but I just...
But people's I want to be nice about this. People's even thought about drugs are way different than it's ever been, especially when it comes to pot. Used to be when somebody call up and say, hey, marijuana, what's in your kid's drug test? And I go 800 milligrams THC. They go, oh my God. Now they go, that's it. And they move on. It's like, what do you mean that's it? I want to reach through the phone and strangle them. Because these are 14-year-old or younger or 16-year-old kids.
12.
Yeah, 12. Exactly. We're getting kids 12 that are doing this stuff. And again, you got to remember, your kid's brain's not even developed yet, and that's where this stuff stores in your fatty cells. So it affects their memory loss. It affects their motivation. It affects their school. It affects every part of their being. So we really need to pay attention before this gets way out of hand. On that note, this is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Cary Quashen, along with my co-host, Michael Duarte, the Silver Fox.
Hello.
And we have Janine and Michelle with us.
We do. Well, they're cool.
I think we need to flip it over to you, to Janine. We only have a couple minutes, and we're having this great event on Wednesday, and it's all yours.
Well, Wednesday again, it's Teen Talks Drugs at the center, and we look forward to folks coming. It's August the 25th, 6 o'clock p.m. will be the resource fair and the opportunity to try the impairment goggles, followed by a 6:30 panel of speakers. That'll be young people or young adults talking about their experience with drugs. And then prior to that, we have Michelle that'll give a little bit of a talk about what she thinks and her perspective as an educator and person in the community.
Why should they come, Michelle?
It's a gift. It's a free gift of knowledge, and parents need to be aware. As an educator, as a Girl Scout troop leader, as a mom, there's nothing greater than knowledge about what's out there. And even if it isn't going to be your kid, and let's all hope that it's not,
Right.
it's going to be their friends.
Yeah.
And you need to know.
I love what she said. She said
I
they
know.
should come because it's a gift.
I know.
Wow.
I'm going to use that.
That's
line.
powerful.
That was really good.
That was
You
a good one.
I learned something.
That's a good one.
I'm going to
yeah.
use that.
Can he steal that?
Why
for you?
should you?
He can
It's
steal
a
anything
gift.
he wants.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm stealing your
His
3
parent
categories.
support group needs
You can have them. Give me a little credit. Okay.
Absolutely.
Your
Thank
parent support group is a gift, so you could
It
use
is.
that. Yeah.
It is.
It's a gift. That's right. It's free. Anybody
Cary,
can come. Tuesday night, 7 p.m.
You're going to be on television tonight on Channel 7 talking about the opioid thing.
I'm talking about the fentanyl thing.
Yeah.
I'll be on television talking about the heroin and opiates in a couple more days, but tonight's fentanyl. I think it's super important that people watch anything that has to do with drugs right now so you can educate yourself. So when you're talking to your children, you know what you're talking about.
You're doing a lot of television recently, and that speaks to the fact that a lot of the TV folks are saying, wait a minute, we got to do a little bit more
Right.
here.
And that's exactly what's happening. They're calling me because they're concerned. And when TV shows, little talk shows and stuff start doing drug shows, you know that's where everybody is right now. That's where our state of whatever you want to call it is, and we need to really beware.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, August 24th, that's coming right up. Wednesday, 6 o'clock for the resource fair and the impairment goggles.
And
which should be
all 4 of us will be there.
That's right. And 6:30 for the panel of speakers. Oh, I thought you were talking about Justin.
No, talk about you.
Oh,
Mike.
me. Okay.
That's right. That's right. We were.
I was
Cary-
asked to give a quick shout out to Samantha, Natalie, and Joel, my awesome family.
Very cool. What do you have to say to them?
Stay drug free, people. Come on.
What else? Say something
Hey.
nice.
Keep being awesome. I'm
there
such a
you go.
lucky mom.
Where's the love?
But I'm watching you.
Oh, there's the love.
That's
there
good.
it is.
That's good.
And that's a gift.
It's a gift.
That's
Don't
right.
you forget
Tell
it.
them to put away those cell phones at dinner.
They don't have cell phones yet.
Hey, hooray for
There you
you.
No way. No social media, no cell phones.
I saw a little one the other day that was so small they could barely carry the cell phone, and they had that thing right up to their ear. I don't know who they were talking
and
to.
Janine, thanks for all you do.
My pleasure.
I mean,
it's
the
a pleasure
city
to
of
be here. Thank
city
you
of
for
Santa
the
Clarita.
partnership.
Yes, the city of Santa Clarita would not be the same without you.
Thank
Not
you.
hardly.
So thanks.
Thanks.
Hey, Mike.
Cary, what
That's
a good
it.
show.
I know, huh? Well, we have 2 of the coolest people around on
Too.
this.
Well, now we have another favorite guest. You
We
know,
have-
Michelle
I know.
Krantz. Now we have to add that to
That's
the
right.
list.
We have to add her.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
I
The
wanna come back.
principal
This is
of.
fun.
I was
Oh,
gonna-
the principal
I was
of
going to
La
tease her.
Mesa
I was going
Junior
to tease her and say Rio Norte.
No,
just
La
to know
Mesa
her. I
Junior
know,
High,
I
home
know.
of the Lobos.
From Canyon High School. No.
Home of the Lobos,
Shame on
Cary.
you.
On that note, let's take a break. We'll see you Wednesday. This is Families in Action on your local hometown station, AM 1220. KHTS, thank you, guests.